my name's Amanda and welcome to the 6th block tutorial in my Star Sampler Quilt Along With Me series. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make, I think, one of my favourite blocks so far, and that is this one. It is called the Amish Star. Amish? Amish. I don't know. But it's this one here called the Amish Star, and I think it is such a little beauty. It is so lovely. I think with this one, the reason why I love it so much is it gave a great opportunity for me to add a lovely pop of colour, as well as to fussy cut the centerpiece with one of the fabrics in the print shop range. I chose to sort of fussy cut these two sweet little kitty cats and the flowers in the background, and I think it just works perfectly. Now you all might be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, that block looks so hard to piece together. I promise you it is so easy to make, and in this tutorial I am breaking it down into easy steps to show you how to piece it together. So I've broken the tutorial up into 3 sections. The first section being how to make these corner square units here, and then the second section how to make the flying geese units, which are here, and then in the third section I'm showing you how to piece it all together to make the block. My advice to you when making this block is to just simply pay attention to how you're nesting all of your seams. If you nest all of the appropriate seams together, then you'll find that you'll have a beautiful, crisp, clean block at the end. So as always, you will find all of the measurement and cutting instructions for this block down in the description box below. There is also a link to the pattern sheet which you can download and print out and follow along with. So with all of that said, let's get into how we make the Amish Star block. The fabrics I'm using to make block 6 include the Kerchief solid for the background, Print Shop This and That in black for the center star, Print Shop Point in charcoal for the flying geese, Print Shop in sprinkle for the corner squares, and Print Shop Moons in grass for the corner half square triangles. So to make the Amish Star block, you will need to cut from your background fabric 4 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles and 4 3-inch squares. 1 4.5 inch square and then 8 2.5 inch squares from your first print fabric, 4 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles from your second fabric, 8 2.5 inch squares from your third fabric, and then 4 3-inch squares from your fourth fabric. To begin, place the centre 4.5 inch square to one side. Then pair together the second print rectangles with the background rectangles and first print squares. Then bring together what's left over to begin making the corner units of the block. Place the 8 third print squares to one side and start the process of making half square triangle units with the other squares. To do this, mark a diagonal line with a pencil and ruler on the wrong side of all 4 of the lightest print squares. Pair these with the other 4 squares and evenly pin them together. At the sewing machine, stitch a 1/4 inch seam along the left hand side of the line, gently feeding through each pair one at a time. Then turn the chain squares around and sew another 1/4 inch seam down the other side of the center line. Snip each of the joining threads and then with a ruler and blade cut each one in half, resulting in 8 half square triangle units. Press the seam on each unit towards the darker side of fabric with a medium to hot steamy iron, and then patiently square up each one to a perfect 2.5 inch square. Next, piece together the corner units by laying out 2 of the 2.5 inch squares set aside earlier along with 2 of your half square triangles, ensuring that the background fabric in each half square triangle unit is facing inwards towards the center of the unit. Turn over the top half square triangle and evenly pin it into place, followed by the square in the other row. Sew a 1/4 inch seam along the pinned edge, feeding the next pair through in the same way. After snipping the joining threads, press the 2 seams towards the square corners. With each pair back into place, flip one over onto the other and nest the seams evenly together. Pin the edge into place and then sew a 1/4 inch seam down this side. Gently open this seam up with your fingers and then press it down flat with the iron, Give the top of the unit a good press as well, and then do a quick check of its size to make sure that it measures approximately 4.5 inches square, trimming off any excess if necessary. From here, make another 3 of these units so that you have a total of 4 corner units for this block. Next, grab the other pile of squares and rectangles set aside earlier and begin making the flying geese units for the block. To do this, mark a diagonal line along the back of all of the 8 2.5 inch squares with a pencil and ruler. Place a square into the corner of a second print rectangle, with the marked line running inwards towards the center of the rectangle. Pin the square evenly into place and then sew on top of the line from one corner to the other. Trim off the excess fabric from the corner with a ruler and blade, leaving behind a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then press the corner firmly outwards with the iron. Place one more 2.5 inch square onto the opposite end of the rectangle and pin it evenly into place. Sew again on top of the line, corner to corner, and then trim off the excess fabric, leaving behind another 1/4 inch seam allowance. Press the corner outwards with the iron. Next, pair the flying geese unit with a background fabric rectangle. Turn one over onto the other and pin them together along the plain edge. Sew a 1/4 inch seam down this side and then press the seam outwards towards the background rectangle. Like before, do a quick check of the unit's size, ensuring that it measures approximately 4.5 inches square. And then repeat the same set of steps to make another 3 of these units. Once all of the block's units have been pieced together, lay them out to create the Amish style block design. Don't forget to use the pattern sheet as a guide if you're unsure of where certain elements go. Starting with the top row, flip the middle unit over onto the one to the left. Evenly line up the 2 seams and then pin them together. Sew a 1/4 inch seam down this side and then press the seam open flat with the iron. Turn over the other unit in this row, nesting the seams again and evenly pinning them into place. Sew another 1/4 inch seam and then press the seam open in the same way as before. From here, piece together the other 2 rows in the same way, making sure to press the seams in the middle row inwards towards the center square. Next, finish constructing the block by flipping over the middle row onto the bottom one, evenly nesting each of the seams together and then pinning the edge into place. Carefully sew a 1/4 inch seam down this side, making sure each of the seams are lying flat before sewing over them. Gently press the seam inwards towards the middle row and then return it back into place. Turn over the top row of the block into place and then nest and pin each of the seams and edges together in the same way as before. Sew one last 1/4 inch seam along this edge, paying attention to how your seams are lying, and then press the seam inwards once again. Give the finished block a good final press using spray starch if you wish. Then lastly, square up the block to a final measurement of 12.5 inches square. Like I always say at this part in the tutorial, please keep sharing your blocks with me. I absolutely love seeing them. The best way to share them with me is either on Instagram using the hashtag Amanda's Quilt Along, or on my Facebook page, which is at 3 3/4. So I'm hoping to have block 7 out as soon as possible. I know that there is quite a long time between blocks at the moment. I've just been really busy at work and it's just sort of been a bit hectic with getting life together, you know? But I am always trying to get blocks out to you as soon as I can, and I'm aware that you're all waiting, so just be patient and they'll come out as soon as I can get them ready and done and finished and stuff. I I promise that block 7 isn't as complicated as the past couple of blocks have been. This one is actually quite simple. We're sort of taking a couple of steps back on the level of block making, and yeah, this one's a bit of a walk in the park, so I really do hope that you enjoy block 7 when it comes out. And until then, thank you all so much for watching, and hope to see you another time very, very soon. Bye!